Okay, so as you can see, we're watching a piece of good old American pie. Normal Saturday afternoon, kids playing in the ballpark, very tranquil location. This actually is directly behind both the street and the pavilion where we were just at, speaking with the day laborers. So the proximity, really, if this situation in the pavilion or on 4 Mile Run became turbulent, violent, if they ever decided to become more aggressive, these young children are right here. But you know, as we've seen and experienced, the gentlemen were completely friendly. They were nice. The last segment in the pavilion, they were a little concerned and hostile. They actually said that we were not allowed to be there. That they used the word criminal, criminale. It was criminal for us to be there, which is ironic because they're unlicensed, undocumented workers and we're citizens, and I contribute to the tax base here in this county, but that's okay.
So where are we going now?
Okay, we're going now to the dog park, which I mentioned a few times earlier. This is one of the largest dog parks in all of Arlington County. There are people that come from other surrounding counties to come to this dog park. It's very beautiful, it's very large. It runs right along a babbling brook that is also called 4 Mile Run, which is the same name as the street we were on with the gentleman whom we interviewed from Guatemala. And it's a really great social place that has its own community, you know, the dog community gossip and everything. What's interesting about this dog park too, especially because we're right up against the banks of a river that flows right into the Potomac River, is we do get a lot of news about vagrants, and we work with the police, or sometimes the vagrants work with the police to inform us, say, hey, please we have vagrants telling the police, you know, tell the dog walkers in the dog park to be careful because even the vagrants have noticed some suspicious activity, which is really interesting. So there are 1 or 2 vagrants that have come in and out in the past 3.5 years that I've been here that you just maintain a friendly rapport with. They're just surviving. One guy was actually a veteran of the Vietnam War, and he and his dog lived down there. He had a laptop, he had a cell phone, and we didn't really know the reason why, but his wife divorced him and his mind just snapped, and so he just apparently was living in a $600,000 home, and he has a car, but he just prefers to live day to day along the banks. I haven't seen him in about a year, so I don't know what happened to him. I don't know, maybe if he got the proper help that he needed and is back on his feet, but it's just a wonderful place to just meet and chat with people. So
all right, so we're going to go and see if we can find some citizens to talk about what we just investigated as citizen journalists. The illegal immigrants and the American workers who hire them and everything else. So we're going to shut the camera off until we get someone to agree. I think that's the only fair way to do this. So we'll shut it down.
Hi, this is Raea, and I'm here at the dog park, and we actually approached, I would say, about a dozen people on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and no one was really comfortable or interested in coming out of the camera to speak with us about this issue. Which could tell us 2 different things. Number one, and what's interesting about being here is that no matter how you approach the park, you do have to come through both of those areas where the day laborers hang out and solicit for work. So either that means that there's never been a problem in terms of no one's had a problem with them, no one's felt threatened, like going through the lines, understood that, you know, people know what they're doing, or people are just so passive this doesn't bother them. It's not an issue for them. But me as a licensed contractor, it's when I see my county's taxpayer dollars funding direct mail postcard advertisements for people in this neighborhood and across the county to go over to the Weenie Beanie and the Pavilion, go over to 4 Mile Run and hire them for contract work. That is against the law. And I would love for the county to also spend the same amount of money on a direct mail piece to promote my business. Sorry, we're being barraged by a lot of wet dogs here. It's actually really comical. It brings a little lightheartedness to the situation that we're discussing. So I think what we'll do is we'll just try this again another day, and I just really appreciate and thank you two for allowing me to express my story. Certainly the national media, the mainstream media hasn't picked up on this as an issue, but as we all know, I believe it was There was a gentleman, Ross Perot, who actually was saying that the growth, he's the one that actually coined the phrase way back during the '92 presidential campaign. He's the one that brought everyone's attention that the growth of our engine, the engine of our economy is small business. I'm a small business owner. And so I left the cancer of the corporate culture in major global manufacturing communication companies so that I could have a piece of my own American dream, which is to be a small business owner and create my own wealth through that venue, through my art. So it would be great to, it's difficult to do that when the non-licensed, forget the fact that they're illegal and that they're undocumented, they're just simply not licensed, and that in itself is also against the law in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So it would be great. It doesn't make sense almost, like, why do I need to spend the money and the time to get a license, file for the licenses every 2 years, not just with the state but with the county as well. Because if this permissive based culture of hiring contractors is allowed to continue, but then for the same reason, it may not make sense then for contractors like myself to be licensed and pay taxes in the state, and that's where we're going to be headed. So if the state and the county are ready to handle that, I'm more than happy to rescind my license and give it back to them and say thank you very much. Bye-bye.